Okay, first up, I'm in no state to be making this video, but the Bitcoin broke 40K. Then it broke the second target I had of 40,850. We're currently at 41,500. There's a really good pattern that is playing out that I want to talk to you about. But before I get into that, there is something more important that I want to tell you. And that is this opportunity right now that we have in cryptocurrency over the next year and a half is going to be your greatest opportunity to make life-changing wealth that you may ever have for the rest of your life. That's how serious you have to take this cycle. You may have seen other creators starting to talk about this being the last cycle for life-changing money. I agree, and I'm going to tell you why. There's a number of things that is eventually going to happen that is inevitable. And the thing with crypto is it's proven so far to be the one asset class where you literally can make life-changing money. If you watch people in the last cycle, these are people that I tried to model myself to be like, not as far as what they do, but just the success that they've had. I'm talking about people like Crypto, Moon Carl. These people, you listen to their story, and within a 5-year period, they went from being nobodies, in their own words, to billionaires. That's with a B, like with a B, in 5 years. Who does that? What other industry can you do something like that so fast? So point being, we don't necessarily have to aim that high, but this is the industry like no other where you have the opportunity to make life-changing money, but you have to take this seriously. Now you have to take this seriously. Over the weekend, I saw so many people shorting Bitcoin just because it went up. That's not a reason to open a short. You know, there is no confirmation there. Like, we need to stop doing these things, and we need to get serious about this, because this could be the moment of a lifetime. The next year could be your moment of a lifetime. And just think about all of the things that you want in your life. You know, do you want to build a property portfolio? Do you want to make life-changing wealth so that you, your next generation, the generation after, are taken care of long after you're gone? You know, what is it? Do you just want freedom to be able to travel and not have to think about the cost of the plane ticket and your accommodation? Whatever it is, this is the moment that you need to sit down. Of course, my email interrupts me then, but this is the moment that you need to sit down and you need to really design your life. A lot of people that know me very well know that I live a pretty chill, cool. I mean, it hasn't been chill for the last 4 months, but other than that, before the last 4 months, like I live a pretty amazing life, but not by chance. I literally designed it that way. You know, there was not that long ago that I was on the verge of bankruptcy and couldn't see a way out, didn't know. As soon as I had paid my rent, I had no idea how I was going to cover the next month's rent. I went immediately into another 30-day cycle of worry, you know, and that's not an old story for me. It was only a few years ago. But what happened in that moment when I was so down and every day just praying that it would be my last, what I decided to do was design my life. And this is what I want to tell you guys. I'm going to get into the charts, so stick with me, but I don't know why I feel compelled to say this right now, but I see the craziness in a bull market happening already. And like, get your head together. Get your head together. If you think you can't lose money in a bull market, I saw people lose millions of dollars in the last bull market. You know, $500,000. One of my friends rang me one day and just said, Annii, I've just blown $500,000. I've seen it, and it was a bull market. Right? Don't think automatically just because price is going up that you can take higher risks and make dumb decisions and all of a sudden you don't have to follow your rules anymore. I've also seen people all of a sudden changing the way that they trade. Why? If the way that you've traded in the last year during the accumulation phase has worked for you, like, Don't go bringing in other things now to distract yourself. Like, use what works. Stick with that. This is the best opportunity that you have right now. It's not the time to reinvent the wheel. It's not. Now is the time to get involved and then just sit and wait and start selling on the way up. You got one thing to do if you want to lock away those profits. One thing. So that really is my message. I urge you and I encourage you to spend this cycle only using altcoins to create more Bitcoin. That's it. There should be one purpose. You're using altcoins to create more Bitcoin. Once you've created that Bitcoin, you funnel it off an exchange. That's it. It is safer in your hands. You know, don't get carried away with keeping money on exchanges. Any decision you make, if you think about the worst case scenario, would that really affect you? Then don't do that. That's my plan. My plan is use altcoins to make Bitcoin, take the Bitcoin off the exchange. That's all I'm doing for the bull market. And that's what I wanted to tell you guys today. So I'm going to get into the charts. I just needed to tell you that message first because the bull market makes people lose their minds. And every time you lose your mind, I want you to come back to this and just remember, you designed your life. What does it look like? You stick to that. What are the steps for you to take to end up with that life that you designed? Because that is how I went from not being able to pay my rent to now traveling every month. Like, you guys see it on this channel, like you see it. I'm hardly ever at home. Where is my home? I have one home here in Dubai. I have another in Australia. And I haven't spent more than a month at either of them in the whole of 2023. Like, you see this, right? And it's because I designed my life. Maybe I'll do a video on that one day. If you want, anyway, leave a comment below if you want me to show you exactly what I mean by design your life, because it has a lot to do with manifesting. But I want to show you a trade. I want to get into the charts. I want to show you what's happening, why we picked this. We picked this in Discord, and what are we going to do now? Let's go. All right. So first up, I just want to show you a couple of posts I did in the Discord to show you kind of what our mindset was before this. So first of all, I'd done this post here about the 1 hour time frame. This was on the 30th of November, saying that it looked like we were having a 1 hour time frame bull flag forming, and probably that was going to be the better time frame to trade. Following on from that, so that was the 30th, and that was a Thursday. So by the time that broke out, it was now Friday. Now, in this method, we usually recommend that you close your trades on Fridays. However, there's a whole thing, I explained it on the other channel on yesterday's show, actually, about there are 3 trends in any asset, right? There are 3 trends. So there is a macro trend, an intermediate trend, and a micro trend. When all 3 trends are in the same direction, that's when you're going to make the most money from your trades. When one starts to switch and it will go, for example, macro will be bullish, intermediate will change to choppy, and the lower time frame micro trend will change to bearish. When that happens, it's harder for those trades to play out. You're either in very early on the trend that is about to change and feed up in timeframes, or it's a very, very short-term pullback, right? So when you understand those 3 trends, the point of that, maybe I'll do a whole video on that as well one day, let me know again. But the whole point being is that when you recognize that you're in that, so micro, intermediate, and macro are all bullish, which is what we were, that's when you might decide to hold your trade through a weekend, providing your stop loss is in enough profit. And you can read it here. This is what I was saying. If you can move your stop loss into profit without affecting that trade and still allow for the potential stop hunts that happen on a weekend to not stop you out before continuation, then you can hold a trade through the weekend. So this is what I was basically telling the TTC community on Friday when I said this might be one of those weekends where you decide to hold your trade through the weekend. After that, we had the Sunday update, which I did on the other channel yesterday, where, you know, I wasn't feeling bearish yet, wanted to see what happened at 40K. And then today, currently, what has turned out, and this is what I'm going to talk to you about in detail in this video, is the setup that we have is a 33 trade. And I'm going to show you exactly what that is. A 33 trade is a pretty epic trade. It's one of the trades in the market maker method. And essentially what happens is it leads to kind of a a parabolic rise or dump if it's going in the other direction. And if you happen to get it, I mean, you still have to get in originally off the W formation. So there's no way for you to know you're going to get a 33 trade until it's actually happened. However, once you recognize that you're in one, then you're onto one of those trades that is a massive risk to reward. So how the last week played out with the method that we trade is we had let me go to the whole of last week. So we had the weekend trap here, which leads to the start of the week false move. And then around the session changeovers, you look for the W formation. So this was the weekend trap here from the US close. You can see price just consolidated. That's the weekend trap. That led to the 1 day trend, which usually forms the inside of the M or W, the left side of the M or W. The W formation came here at UK over into US. And then from there, we were up. After that, the midweek actually happened on Wednesday this week. So the midweek reversal gave us this M formation here, which the midweek reversal can happen any day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It usually happens on Thursday in crypto, but definitely can happen Wednesday. This was the one where I did an update and said, I don't think the short's going to be worth it because I have a feeling we're going to do a sideways 3-level drop as opposed to actually decrease in price. Where'd that come from? I don't know. Honestly, it came from intuition. It was just a feeling. And in this case, the feeling was right. Maybe it's because I've traded the method for so long. Maybe it's just intuition, who knows? But at the end of the day, what I thought was going to happen happened. Yeah, you go me. So we have this drop, we had the retrace, we had another drop, retrace, drop. So this all here formed the midweek reversal 3-level drop. M formation, drop 1, retrace, drop 2, retrace, drop 3. Now we're going into the Friday trap, right? So we got another W formation here, which would have been a W on the 1 hour off the 200 EMA as well, which is bullish because this purple line here is the 15-minute 800 EMA, and the 800 EMA on the 15-minute is the same as the 200 EMA on the 1 hour time. I know that I am giving you so much information, but I've got so much to do today and my brain can't even function right now. It literally wants to shut down with everything that's going on in my life. But I have to get this out because I'm flying to Vietnam tomorrow, even though I said I wouldn't travel in a bull market. Well, I'm a fail of a human right now, but my TA is working out. So let's just focus on that. So Friday happens and we get the W formation, which is a double bottom off the 200 EMA. Great. There was a trade here that you could have intended to just be the Friday trade. You could have started out as just a Friday day trade with the intention to close your trade at a peak formation during the UK, which would have been this peak formation right here, right? That is a day trade setup for this method, and fine, you would have taken your profit, and you can't cry if you take profit even if price continues up. Like, be grateful to the universe because it's hard to make profits in trading, and if you are going to cry because you made profit and then price continued, like, you don't deserve your profit. So be careful of the stories that you're telling the universe. Anyway, moving on. Don't know why I went on that rant, but here we are. So what happened then is we did continue through the weekend. So this was on the Friday here when the UK put in its high. That was when I did the update saying this might be one of those weeks. Actually, I think it was before. I don't know. But that was when I did the update in the Discord saying this might be one of those weekends you want to hold. Why did I say that? The reason I said that is because price had broken a very key level, which was the 38,500, right? We had pushed up against it so many times that now that we had broken it, and the retest, look here, the retest actually held the 50 EMA. This was why I said, I actually did the post just before this, but I thought if we hold the 50 EMA, it's going to be worth holding through the weekend because we broke a key macro level. So this comes back to what I was saying before. Understand your macro, your intermediate, and your micro trends, right? And so by understanding that, that's when I was able to say, this might be a weekend worth taking the risk on. And the 50 EMA, if we have a look at that update, I said, if you have a really good reward multiple, you could move your stop loss somewhere under the high of the day, of that day, and the 50 EMA. So if anybody followed that advice, you would see here that if they put their stop loss under the 50 EMA, they would not have gotten wicked out, and they would have protected all of this here, all of this profit here, in case it did swing back. but it didn't. It was a good place to put your stop loss. And then we went into consolidation and ended up having the breakouts, which I'm sure you know what ended up happening from there. So everything here lined up with magically, I don't know, just happened to line up with this being a good weekend to hold on to longs, even though normally when you trade this method, you would take profit on Friday in UK. So what happened from there is this here is what I was talking about, the 33 trade. I'm going to explain to you what it is. From a W formation, you will have 3 level rises, which you can see here. So there's a level 1 here, a level 2 here, and then we're currently in the level 3. In between those rises, there's no pullback. It's only consolidation. So this here, consolidation. So after rise 1, I mean, you could say that this was a bit of a pullback, but really what it means is that you don't get like a full thing like this. Like you don't get a massive full flag formation like that before you go for a next retrace. Essentially, we did have that. This is just the Friday trap. And then we had the consolidation. So rise 1, consolidation. Rise 2, straight consolidation. So no pullback so far. And then we go into rise 3. Now what happened, the final part of a 33 trade is that in level 3, there's a further 3 rises or 3 spikes. So you can see I've circled them here. So you've got this high volume spike here, this one here, and this one here. That all counts as the 33 trade. What made it even better was it finished with the blue vector, which the blue vector after a green vector shows that the volume spike is starting to slow down, starting to die off. So perfect. The 33 trade has done what it's meant to do at this point in time. What happens after a 33 trade? Now this final spike, by the way, it could still be in the process of like completing because it could be feeding up into a higher time frame. But for the sake of just showing you what it is, I'm going to act like it's only going to play out on the 15-minute time frame. But just note that here, what I've said to my community so far is that the other thing too is we need to see if the 33 trade now feeds up into the 1 hour and then the 4 hour. So won't cover that on this video. However, I want to cover what the 33 trade is because I love this setup. It's just so good because it's a massive risk to reward. What should happen now, if it's only going to play out on the 15-minute time frame, what should happen now is that we go into an extended, abnormally long period of consolidation. Let's just say in this case, it does only play out on the 15-minute time frame. Our consolidation should last probably more than a day, and it might be this big range here that we've got going on currently between 41.3 to about 42.2 kind of area. If that happens, because we're in UK now, I know we had this one big red candle, but it just held the 20 EMA essentially, so it wasn't that big a deal. But this red candle here, even though it didn't do much in Bitcoin, it did do a lot in alts, right? So it was definitely an altcoin stop hunt, which again comes back to what I said to you on my show yesterday, which was you should focus on Bitcoin because if Bitcoin's going to break out, all the attention's going to go there first. When you do have these stop hunts, they're not going to be as dramatic. I didn't say that, but we can see that they're not going to be as dramatic compared to alts that feel like, oh crap, it's over, right? Now look, we're in the process of potentially a second side M or potentially 100% recovery. But for Bitcoin specifically, what we want to see now is if it does start to consolidate, look at this for an amazing target. This liquidation level at 42,184, that red candle wicked exactly on it. So really that candle was those liquidations getting hit. It was a temporary one candle. Now we need to see what happens after. So if the 33 trade is going to fully complete, here's what happens. We consolidate for a long period of time. It could just be the rest of today's session, so into US session, or it could take us into tomorrow as well, and it's just going to feel like boring trading. What happens after that, though, is that we will get a retracement to the 200 EMA. Now, the problem with this, that doesn't make it a good trade to short, by the way, because the problem is the longer the consolidation goes on from here, the more chance that that 200 EMA has to catch up to price. So if you think about it, if we consolidate like this for all this period of time, and then you know that the target to break down from that consolidation is the 200 EMA, then there's really not a good risk to reward in that short anyway. Let's just say you took it from there to there and you've got to have your stop loss above this wick here. It's a nothing trade. Where you would be better off is seeing how price reacts at the 200 EMA for your next entry to long. That's what's going to be better off, because even if it doesn't consolidate, and the EMA still stays far away, like let's just say the EMA stays here and price does this and then it breaks and then it goes to there, it's still like you can't get involved until this break and retest. So you're still probably going to be better off taking a long from the 200 EMA, providing it holds, than trying to short it back down there. So for everyone trying to short right now, I just don't think that's a very clever idea when, we know that the majority of people think we're going higher than 42. My personal target is 44 because of the heat maps. Let's see if they're still there. So yeah, the shorts are currently up here, at 45, right? So 45 target. My mentor Jacob on Twitter, let's find him. Here we go. Jacob's target is still 48,500. So, somewhere between there is good. So don't worry about the shorts for now. Just let retracements happen and get in on good longs. We did come back and the EMAs, kind of stayed around here. It's also going to be a retest of the high of the week. So yeah, there's just so much reason to just see what this consolidation does. If it breaks down, get ready for your long position at the 200 EMA, wherever the 200 EMA is at the time, providing it holds that 200 EMA. That is your potential setup for a better trade than a reversal right now. If anything changes and all of a sudden we turn bearish, as long as I'm not on a plane, I will do another update. But for now, I feel like I'm not so certain we're going to get a reversal. I feel like we may more just consolidate. That's what I have for you. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button. Sorry, it's a hot mess video, but it is what it is. I wanted to get it out anyway, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.